Hello, welcome back to Oracle PL tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss about exception type. As we know that there are two types of exception. One is implicit, another is explicit. And in implicit, we have predefined Oracle server error. Okay, so let's discuss this type of exception in this video. Okay, so let's take a look how this Oracle PL SQL program works. Say I have a declare, so here I can declare some variable, and then I have begin, and then say let's say this is my end, and inside this begin I will write a lot of SQL statement or PL SQL statement. Let's say I have statement S1, S2, S3, S4 and so on. Then what I do, I learned from my previous video that if there is some error, a runtime error occur, then I can handle those things gracefully by another block called exception. So I'll write a keyword called exception, and inside that exception I will write the handlers. Say when, say my handlers, when something, then I will write some statement, error statement S1, S2, this thing, and when something else happens, then some other statements. Let's make this n a little bit of below. So this is how a PL SQL blocks look like. Okay, so that means when we are running this thing fine, so if S1, S2, S3, S4 just run without any Oracle error, then this basically whatever from begin to exception, whatever statements are there, those things going to be executed properly, and then the control is going to come to the end. But assume that something really gone wrong when it is trying to execute S2. Note that this is not a compile time error. Like I expect something, but something else, based on some data and all those things, it might happen that this S2 may not behave how it's supposed to be. Okay, so let's say while executing S2 I got an Oracle error. Let's say that error is 1000. Okay, so this is the error code that I got while executing S2. Then what happens, that Oracle by default map this error code to a exception handler. Okay, let's say that exception handler name is ABC. Okay, so all these things are done by Oracle. You don't have to worry about anything. So what Oracle does, Oracle, whatever the frequently error that you can get during runtime, they have there are maybe 25 plus frequently errors. Frequent errors are being considered and then defined as an exception handler for those things. For example, here are something that I have taken from the Oracle server documentation guide. Whenever there is an error code called 1422, that exception name is 2 underscore many underscore rows. So what does it mean? This is how you're going to read. Whenever you are going to get, whenever you are executing this statement, if this statement is going to give you a error, that error code is 1422. Just write it properly. So if while running this statement 2, if I get an Oracle error 1422, then what is going to happen? It will raise automatically raise an exception called 2 underscore many underscore rows. Okay, so let's understand what does it mean. That means the control is going to go to the exception block and try to scan the exception block from top to bottom. Try to find out if there is a handler name 2 many underscore rows. If there is a handler called 2 many rows, then it will go to that block and try to execute whatever the error statements that we have there. Understood? So this is what is a implicit, this is how one implicit predefined Oracle server exception work. Okay, so this is how a predefined Oracle exception work. Let's take some more example to clarify this thing from a programming context. Here is an example. I declare num1 as a number, num2 as a number, and I declare a cursor c1. In line number 6, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to assign a value 100,000 to num2. However, whenever I declare num2, I said that num2 can take maximum 2 precision. That means anything from 0 to 99 can be stored here. So therefore, whenever here you want try to give a number that is greater than 99, this is going to say that okay, I cannot store here. That means that's an error, right? So whenever this thing will happen, Oracle server is going to give you an error code. And what is that error code? You can find it from here. The error code will be something like 6502. Okay, so since the error code is 6502, therefore it is going to come to this place, and then 6502 also means a exception handler value underscore error. That means the control is going to go to the exception, jump to the exception block at line number 10 and trying to see if there is a exception handler called value underscore error. So this is not value underscore error, this is not value underscore error, this is value underscore error. So therefore the control is going to go and then execute this dbms underscore output put line. Okay, so this is how this thing happen. Let's say I change this program, I make number num2 is equal to 10. So therefore line number 6 is working now. But in line number 7, num1 is a number, but I am trying to assign a character to that. Okay, again line number 7 is going to give an error, and that error is again 6502 because I am not assigning the right value. Therefore again it is going to come when underscore value underscore error, and then it's going to execute that one. Let's say I fix this one, I give num2 is equal to 10, so well all these things gone fine. At line number 8 is going to give another type of error. That means I have not opened the cursor, but I'm trying to close the cursor. Okay, that means cursor does not exist. Okay, but how come you want to close it? So this is going to give a new kind of error, and that error, if you see the table, is something called invalid cursor. That error code should be 1001. Okay, so when this thing happens, then an error occur, and then Oracle the control should look for a name called invalid underscore cursor. Okay, and then okay, it got at line number 17 invalid cursor, therefore it's going to come here, execute this thing and get out of this end. Let's say I commented this out, so that just want to get just so that this let's say I remove this thing from my program. Now this line works fine, this line works fine. Let's go to line number 9. In line number 9, I am selecting employee number into num1. So num1 is one variable where I can just store one employee number, but this this query is going to fetch me more than one employee number from EMP table, assuming that I have 10 to 15 rows are there in my employee table. Okay, so here in this case, this is going to give you another type of error, and that error is called 2 underscore many underscore rows. That means you see, like this thing will be raised when a select statement returns more than one row. Okay, so since its select statement is returning more than one row, therefore 2 underscore many underscore rows is going to be the exception is going to be raised. That means the control will go from line number 9 to the exception block and try to find out an exception named to underscore many underscore rows. If you look at that, you do not find anything called to underscore many underscore rows here. So here is the default rule. If you do not find any to underscore many underscore rows, but you find another exception called others, then it will go there. So basically others is a default block. You can think about that, that if nothing will happen, then it will by default let's go to when others. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. And then so let's say if I do not have when others, if I remove this from my code, then basically then whenever this execution is going to return many rows, then it is going to try to find out to underscore many underscore rows. It will not find here, not find here, not find here, not find here. So that means this exception is unhandled. So if this exception is not unhandled, then whoever has called this program, it is going to propagate to there, and then finally it is going to reported as an error. So in this case I'm going to get an error. This is this is an example of abrupt exit. Even though I have written the exception, since I do not handle it properly, therefore again this is equivalent to not writing any exception. Okay, so this is what is all about your predefined Oracle Server errors. Why it is predefined Oracle Server errors? Because all these errors are defined by Oracle, and then what you need to do, you don't need to do anything except write appropriate handler. So what you need to do, you need to take a look at what are the predefined exceptions are there. Okay, so if those predefined exceptions are there, then you should basically just write an handler, it should fine. This is how you are going to write the exception handler. In the next video we are going to discuss about something more interesting.